What if I told you that behind the glitz of Hollywood, behind the awards, the red carpets, and the worldwide fame, Johnny Depp's real life has been filled with shocking twists, painful truths, and moments of resilience that could break or inspire anyone? It almost sounds like the plot of a movie, doesn't it? But here's the thing, this isn't a role, this isn't fiction, this is his real life. And that's what makes it so compelling. Think about it. We watch Johnny Depp on screen and we see these larger-than-life characters. Captain Jack Sparrow with his swagger and wit. Edward Scissorhands with his gentle sadness. Willy Wonka with his eccentric strangeness. Each one unforgettable, each one etched into film history. But behind those characters, behind all the transformations and costumes, there's a man who has lived through chaos, heartbreak, and moments that would make most people crumble. And yet, somehow, he's still here. Still creating. Still performing. Still fighting in his own quiet way. Let's go back to where it all started, because to understand Johnny's present, you need to understand his past. He didn't grow up with stability. His childhood was marked by constant movement, constantly packing up, constantly adjusting to new places and new faces. Imagine being a kid and never knowing if the place you called home today would still be your home tomorrow. Imagine trying to build an identity when everything around you keeps shifting. That kind of life leaves an imprint. It can make you feel like you never really belong anywhere. And for Johnny, it left him with a restless spirit, a sense of searching that you can almost feel in everything he does. Now, fast forward to his teenage years. Music was his first escape. Long before the world knew him as a movie star, Johnny dreamed of being a rock musician. He poured his energy into guitar strings, into melodies, into lyrics that gave him a sense of freedom. Music wasn't just a hobby, it was a lifeline. But life had other plans. Hollywood came knocking, and before long, Johnny found himself on the set of 21 Jump Street. The show was a hit. Overnight, he became a teen idol. His face was on posters. Fans screamed his name. The world was ready to crown him as the next big thing. But here's the untold truth, Johnny hated it. He didn't want to be a pin-up star or a shallow idol. He didn't want to be trapped by an image that never felt real to him. Have you ever felt like people expect you to be someone you're not? Like you're being boxed into a version of yourself that doesn't feel authentic? That's what Johnny felt, except on a massive scale. Fame, instead of feeling like a reward, felt like a prison. The more the world adored him as a heartthrob, the more he wanted to break free. And break free he did. He started choosing roles that were strange, offbeat, even risky. Characters that other actors might have avoided. Edward Scissorhands was the first real glimpse of Johnny as an artist, not just a star. That pale face, those scissor hands, that heartbreaking innocence, it wasn't just a role. It was a statement. He was saying, I'm not what you think I am. I'm something else. I'm an artist, not a product. And audiences listened. They connected. They saw something raw, something real. From there, Johnny's career became a roller coaster of unforgettable roles. Gilbert Grape, Sleepy Hollow, Sweeney Todd, and of course, Captain Jack Sparrow, the character that made him a household name all over again. Jack Sparrow wasn't just a pirate, he was an icon. He was funny, unpredictable, deeply flawed, and yet somehow heroic. And Johnny played him in a way no one else could have. But while audiences laughed and cheered, while studios raked in billions, behind the scenes Johnny was still wrestling with his own demons. Because here's the truth, success doesn't erase pain. Fame doesn't silence the battles inside. In fact, sometimes, it only makes them louder. Every move Johnny made was scrutinized. Every relationship became a public spectacle. Every misstep turned into a headline. And that takes a toll. It's easy for us to forget, when we're scrolling through news feeds or tabloids, that these stories involve real people. Real feelings. Real struggles. We consume celebrity gossip like it's entertainment, but for the person at the center, it's their life unraveling in front of millions. Johnny's personal battles became headlines that seemed impossible to escape. Court cases, accusations, public feuds. The world was watching, judging, taking sides. Can you imagine living your most painful, private moments under that kind of spotlight? Most of us can't. But Johnny had no choice. And yet, even through all of it, he kept creating. Acting, painting, making music, these weren't just creative outlets. They were survival mechanisms. When the noise of the outside world grew too loud, art was the one place he could retreat, the one place where he had control. And that's something powerful we can all learn from. Johnny's life shows us that your past doesn't define you. His difficult childhood could have broken him, but instead, it gave him depth. It made him empathetic. It gave his characters a vulnerability that you can feel even without words. His story also reminds us that success doesn't guarantee peace. Fame looks glamorous from the outside, but it comes with its own kind of prison. You can be adored by millions and still feel lonely. You can be wealthy beyond imagination and still feel empty. But maybe the most important lesson is this: art can heal. Whether it's painting, writing, acting, or playing music, creating something can help you process pain in ways that nothing else can. Psychologists often say that people who transform their suffering into creativity don't just survive, they transform. They find meaning in their pain. Johnny's story is living proof of that. He didn't just endure his struggles, he poured them into his art, and in doing so, he gave the world something unforgettable. So let me ask you this: if you had to take one painful moment from your life and turn it into art, what would it be? Would you write about it? Would you paint it? Would you sing it? Because sometimes, the very thing that hurt us most can become the thing that sets us free. Johnny's shocking real-life drama isn't just about Hollywood scandals or courtroom battles. It's about resilience. It's about refusing to give up, no matter how many times life knocks you down. And maybe that's why people connect with him so deeply. Because behind all the characters, behind the eccentric roles and the headlines, Johnny Depp is human. He's flawed. He's vulnerable. He's resilient. He's someone who has lived through storms and still finds a way to stand tall, even when the world is watching, even when the judgment feels unbearable. So the next time you see Johnny Depp on screen, don't just see Captain Jack Sparrow or Edward Scissorhands. See the man behind those characters. See the boy who grew up in chaos, the young actor who broke free from being a teen idol, the artist who used pain as fuel, the human being who has lived through trials most of us can't imagine. See the person, not just the performer. And here's where I want to bring it back to you. Because this isn't just Johnny's story. In a way, it's all of ours. We all have struggles. We all have moments we wish we could hide from the world. But what if, instead of hiding them, we found a way to turn them into something meaningful? What if the very thing that feels like it could break us becomes the thing that makes us stronger? That's what Johnny's life shows us. That even in the middle of chaos, you can find meaning. Even when the world misunderstands you, you can stay true to yourself. And even when your story feels too heavy to carry, you can transform it into art, into something that inspires others. So let me leave you with this thought. Behind every headline is a human being. Behind every public image is a private story. And behind every person, no matter how famous or ordinary, is a truth that deserves to be told. Johnny Depp's shocking real-life drama is more than just Hollywood gossip. It's a reminder that the strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall, and get up, and keep going, even when the world is watching. And maybe that's why his story matters so much. Because in the end, it's not just his story. It's a mirror reflecting parts of our own. So thank you for being here, for listening, for diving into this journey with me. And now I'd love to hear from you. If you had to turn one of your struggles into art, what would it look like? Share your thoughts. Because sometimes, just sharing is the first step to transforming pain into something powerful. And if this story resonated with you, you'll want to see more. There's another part of Johnny's journey that dives even deeper into his most personal confessions, and I think you'll find it just as eye-opening. And of course, if you'd like to keep exploring stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us bring you stories that matter. And until next time, remember this: behind every headline, there's a human story. And behind every human story, there's a truth worth telling.